All right, guys, we are here today. Let me drink some coffee real quick. Hold on, let me turn the sound down. Let me know if the sound is good. Honestly, market is slightly down this morning, although we did run up a lot last week. Bond yields still been decreasing over the weekend. You can kind of see. Let me refresh this. Yeah, the 10-year sitting at about 4.25%. So bond yields are down today. Bond yields have been decreasing over the last week or so, which is good for interest rate sentiment, mortgage sentiment. If you want mortgage rates, if you want interest rates to go down, bond yields going down, decreasing is optimistic for that. Bond yields decrease as people have more optimism around stocks sometimes, as well as if the economy is looking weak, bond yields can decrease in that regard as well, right? So bond yields are down. They've been down if we look at like a one-day chart. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, they're up a little bit today. They're at 4.28%. That was a 5-year chart. But you can see over a 5-day period, they've been down. And they're still down pretty significantly over the past few days. They are up a little bit this morning, though. They're up to 4.27%. Not really a huge gap up, though, but still worthwhile paying attention to. Yeah, let me make sure everything's good. Does it sound good? Is the audio too low? What's up, Ray, Pawn, Faye, Lee, Pawn, Ed, Joseph, Harris, Hero, David, Mopar. What's up, guys? Good morning. Yeah, we're here today. It's honestly a crazy week. I'm just glad market is back to like something to watch. Last week was incredibly boring. All right, so you want me to turn the music down a little bit and turn my voice up some? Is that what y'all are saying? Mic check. 1 2 1 2. The voice should be good. I can turn it up more if y'all need me to, but let me know if you need my voice to be louder. I can always turn it up. There we go. I turned it down a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit too loud in my ears as well. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. I feel great. I didn't get sick at all. Okay, so yesterday evening, futures were mostly down. You can kind of see like the SPY. If we put up the NQ, futures mostly down overnight. Sunday, they did decrease a little bit. Dow Jones dropped 0.3%. S&P dropped about 0.4%. NASDAQ 100 dropped about 0.5%. Wall Street is bracing for a huge week of tech earnings, economic reports, and more this week. It's a crazy week, honestly. We've got so much different stuff coming out this week. We've got earnings for multiple different companies. We've got Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Snapchat, and more. So we got all those earnings coming out this week. Not only do we have that, but we have GDP data. We have GDP data going live Wednesday. We have PCE data going live Wednesday. We have non-farm payrolls and unemployment on Friday. We've got the JOLTS job report tomorrow, as well as like CP consumer confidence, Case Shiller. We got ADP non-farm employment, GDP data, PCE data. So honestly, Wednesday's a freaking crazy day. Thursday, we got jobless claims, ISM manufacturing PMI. I'm not sure why they didn't do this. I guess Thursday is some type of holiday overseas, so they scheduled it this way. Friday, we got non-farm payrolls and unemployment. And then next week, we have the Fed meeting. So then next week, we got the Fed meeting. The week after that, we got a bunch of stuff too. So very strange, busy week. So the week after next, we've got CPI inflation data the week after that. So crazy week, a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, I feel fine. I didn't end up getting sick. My daughter ended up going get tested for everything, and she was negative for everything. So they don't know what it is, what's causing it. All right, let's do a poll. I'm going to do, does the market close red or green for this week's? All right, so we're going to give some options here. We got red, green, sideways, and I don't know. Yeah, looking at a heat map here. All right, news, indices. Yeah, so most stuff is actually pretty green. Like S&P is up 0.74% this morning. NASDAQ is up 1.14%. Dow's basically flat. The Nikkei is about 0.38%, about 0.4% up. FTSE 100 is at 0.11%. DAX is up 0.44%. Nvidia this morning, it says is up. Is that right? No, that's not right. So you got to think about, like, here's Sunday. So we're kind of flat. Why does it say Nvidia? Oh, it must be talking about yesterday. Nvidia over the last 5 days is up 12.39%. 12.39%. So crazy week for Nvidia. Still down 6.5% on the month after the crash, but Nvidia is looking better. Palantir has been one of the crazy stocks. It is green on the day. It is up to 113s right now for Palantir. 113. So Palantir still very green on the day. Or actually not very green, but green nonetheless. It's green enough. So again, we got major tech earnings this week. That's like the big story of this week. We got Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta. We get GDP data. So again, one of the big news stories that happened over the last few days is that they did give out the expected number for GDP this week. And so what I mean by that is, like, we have what they're expecting GDP to show up as of Wednesday. And they are expecting GDP to show up. They are expecting GDP. Let me put up something like the Dixie here. They are expecting GDP this week to show up at 0.4%. This is what they're expecting GDP to show up at this week. 0.4%. And so again, this is for quarter one. So this is from January to March of this year. They are expecting GDP to show up at 0.4%. 0.4%. Very low. And this is relative to the previous quarter. We showed up at 2.4%. So again, and a really interesting thing that happens on Wednesday is we get a look on Wednesday of not just GDP data, but also PCE data, the Fed's preferred inflation metric. And so if we get something where we show up as expected even, and then we get inflation for PCE show up higher than expected, a lot of people are going to be yelling stagflation. If we get a high inflation report and a weak GDP report, a lot of people are going to be yelling stagflation. Like, that's what's going to happen. And I can't really blame them for it, I think, because I'm going to be yelling it too. I mean, if we have high inflation, again, inflation is expected on Wednesday. It's at 10 a.m. instead of 8:30. So it's at 10 a.m. for PCE. It is expected a little light, though. They're expecting PCE to show up at 0.1%. They haven't even given out the other expectations, but they're expecting the month over month to show up at 0.1% for PCE. That's a bad drawing, but 0.1%. Look, 0.1% PCE. Where's the core PCE? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, core PCE month over month. This is core PCE 0.1%. So it's still pretty light. I think last time it showed up at 0.4%. This time they're expecting 0.1% on Wednesday. This is a crazy report. We also tomorrow we have what's called the JOLTS job report showing up. It's strength or weakness in relation to jobs. It shows up tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's expected at 7. Whoa, hold on, let me redraw this. 7.48 million is what the JOLTS job report is supposed to show up at. 7.48 million. This drops tomorrow at 10 a.m. We also have the Case-Shiller house price index tomorrow as well. So like I said, man, we got a lot of craziness. Today and tomorrow, we don't actually have that many big earnings reports. So we just don't have that much dropping. We got like Domino's Pizza that dropped early this morning. We got MGM releasing sometime today before the opening bell, but it's not out yet. Here's MGM. It's kind of volatile right now. MGM has had a crazy good few years. But yeah, we just haven't really seen too many big earnings reports today. Tomorrow, or after the bell, we got like VM, or we got Waste Management, F5, NXP. Tomorrow morning, though, we got SoFi, PayPal, Spotify, UPS, JetBlue, Coca-Cola, Royal Caribbean, Pfizer, Altria, BP, Honeywell, GM, Polaris, American Tower Corp, Region, Tenet, and more. So tomorrow morning, we honestly got a lot of stuff. Tomorrow evening, we got Visa, Snapchat, Starbucks, First Solar, and more. So we're probably personally not going to cover any earnings until we hit Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood on Wednesday evening. So yeah, that's where we're at now with this. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to read where, like, I'm looking at the S&P. We can take a look at the SPY here. SPY is down a little bit overnight. We can take a look at the Q. Q is down a little bit overnight as well, to be honest. Depends on where you look at it, though. Like, it depends on where you look at it, right? The reason it looks wrong is because here's Sunday's open, right? So this is where we opened up on Sunday. This is where we are now. And so it depends on what open you're looking at. If we're looking at where the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow is relative to yesterday, we're green a little bit. You know, like here's where we opened up on Sunday. Here's where we are now. And so we are green a little bit if we're looking at it relative to where we opened up on Sunday. If we're talking about where we closed on Friday, we're a little red. You know, the previous closing price is this light blue line. So we're a little red if we're talking about where we closed on Friday. So it depends on which one we're looking at. Here, I gotta charge these AirPods. They're not cutting it. Yeah, honestly, GDP for the quarter one coming in at 0.4% is not good. That ain't good. All right. Is it quarter one historically lower than other quarters? Yes. So that is absolutely true. Yeah, so one of the things that we had was consumer sentiment weakened per the University of Michigan Consumer Center report on Friday. Again, something that we're talking about in terms of bond yields here. And if we put up a one-day chart, bond yields are actually up a little bit. So they're up a little bit. They're up to 4.28%, but they're still down if we look at it like versus where we've been. They're still down a lot. Investors are focusing on quality companies with like resilient financials to weather the volatility that we're seeing right now. Like that's something that you see. High yield corporate bonds are viewed as stable alternatives amid unpredictable trade negotiations. So you see a lot of like high yielding corporate bonds where investors are flocking to those. A lot of analysts are speaking the right tune, I think, which is that most of the time we're going to rebound. As always, guys, remember, I have no freaking idea what we're talking about. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment and trade responsibly. Can't guarantee anything, as I always say. Yeah, let's check out on some breaking news this morning if we have any. Wells Fargo upgrades U.S. utility sector to overweight from neutral. Merck CEO says this is a firm and final offer that has been accepted, and when asked about a potential rival bids for Springworks. Yeah, I don't really see any big breaking. There's not really any big breaking news this morning, I think. The Atlantic said that the president sees no red line that would change tariff policy. I will put our scroller at the top of the screen, kind of giving you some breaking news. What do you think of MicroStrategy? I think MicroStrategy mostly follows Bitcoin. And I think like if Bitcoin goes up, MicroStrategy usually is going to go up with it. With that said, Bitcoin up to 96 today, 96, like 96.5s or so, close to it. We also had about an hour ago that Japan's economy minister Akazawa says, quote, "There is no change to our stance. We are demanding full removal of U.S. tariffs." He said, "We'll seek the middle ground through investments, and we are not thinking about sacrificing agricultural products for the sake of autos and tariff negotiations." So that is what's going on so far this morning. Again, we've had some big earnings that came out this week already. If we take a look at today, here's most of the morning's earnings so far. We haven't actually got any big releases. This is from Earnings Whisper right here. But again, like Domino's Pizza came out. They beat EPS, missed revenue. MGM hasn't released yet, but they're supposed to schedule their release sometime before the opening bell. Opera came in and missed EPS, beat revenue. Bank United beat EPS, beat revenue. Some other ones, but these are all pretty small. We don't really have any big boy earnings until I would say tomorrow is when we got some big ones. Here, this is too loud for me, guys. I gotta turn the music down. It's honestly just way too loud. Let me know if it's too loud for you guys. Again, bond yields up. Yeah, and I'm looking at the news release today. Yeah, we don't really have anything today in news. I'm trying to see where's the heat map. Screeners. Heat maps. Okay. Yeah, so here's a couple heat maps that we can take a look at. SPY up 0.72%. This must be talking about relative to Friday. Let me see. Or no, it's probably talking about relative to, here's the SPY. Yeah, pre-market is currently down 0.6%. Yeah, it's talking about at close April 4th. Or April 25th. So yeah, this is Friday's close. So SPY up about 0.72% relative to Friday's close. This is it right here. NASDAQ QQQ up about 1.1% relative to Friday's close. In pre-market, it's a completely flat. You can see all of these other ETFs here. Gold. Like here's some gold. Gold is red on the day. Looking deeper into this. Wait, where'd it go? Yeah, taking a look at stocks. Here's the tech sector. Microsoft, Meta, Google. We can take a look deeper into this. They're up. Most tech stocks are up a little bit relative to Friday's close. Microsoft up 1.17%. 1.17%. Down about 0.5% in pre-market though. Google still reeling from their earnings report, up about 268, which is 1.68%. If we take a look at like electronics, Apple, Nvidia still up pretty big, up about 4.3% relative to where it closed on Friday. In pre-market, it is down a little bit though. So, and again, taking a look at Nvidia here, it's at 109s. Hey, what's up, Sam? Good morning, guys. We're here. It's been a slow, honestly, it's been really slow the last couple weeks here, man. And like, it's all consolidated to this week. Like, again, if we take a look at this week, man, like, it's all kind of consolidated to this week here. Like, take a look at everything. We got tomorrow, we got CB consumer confidence and JOLTS. JOLTS is the big one tomorrow. 7.74 million is what it's expected at. 7.74 million. Let me get myself out the way here. Right. 7.74 million. Wednesday is the craziest day that we've had in economic reports in a minute, man. Like, we got GDP, ADP non-farm, like prelim non-farm employment data, PCE data. Now, core PCE expected at 0.1%. Core PCE year over year expected at 2.5%. So when you hear the Fed, like if you ever listen to the Fed and the Fed talks about, hey, this is my 2% inflation target, what they're referring to is core PCE inflation. This one right here. This is what they're referring to when they say, hey, we're on path to hit our 2% target, blah, 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 blah. right? They're talking about this right here. And it's expected at 2.5%, which is a decrease from the 2.8% it showed last time. And so a couple things that if this inflation data is correct, if this inflation data is correct here, guys, and we actually get 2.5% versus the last time 2.8%. If we actually get 2.5% or 0.1% for PCE data here, a couple things might happen. Number one, the odds of a rate cut are going to increase. Why do odds increase with rate cuts with lower inflationary data? Why? Why does that happen? Well, I mean, it happens because what's the roadblock from stopping the Fed cutting rates? Right? Like in theory, low interest rates should be good most of the time, right? Like we want low interest rates. It stimulates the economy. It's good for the economy in a lot of different ways to have lower interest rates. What's stopping us from doing that universally all the time? Inflation is stopping us. If inflation's a risk, if inflation's a problem, the Fed's going to be a lot more careful about cutting rates if inflation's a risk. And so if inflation shows up to a relatively under control level, like 2.5% versus 2.8% or 0.1% month over month, then what happens is that's going to open the door for the Federal Reserve to start cutting rates, hopefully a little bit earlier than expected. And I'm not even one that really wants them to cut rates. I'm more worried about inflation, but I hope we get reasonable inflation data. Again, GDP data, the other big story, 0.4%. Now, look at GDP, what's it expected at on Wednesday. It is expected at 0.4%. Last time it showed up at 2.4%. So it's literally coming in 2 percentage points lower than it did last time. And this is for quarter 1, 2025. So this is from January to March. That shows economic weakness. And so what does that mean? That's even more of an argument to cut rates, right? What we see here is we see a weak economy, and we see inflation being relatively under control here. To be completely real, and again, this is not a political statement, all right? Like, people are going to take it and run with it or do whatever. This is not a political statement. In my opinion, based off of this data here, we probably should consider cutting rates a little bit earlier. If inflation's under control, if we got weak economics and low inflation, it means it's time to cut a little bit based off of like a lot of people's minds. Let me know if you think it's time to cut. But if we get weak inflation and weak economics, it's time to cut. Now, if inflation comes in higher than expected, that's a different story. We'll have to see what that means. But I think a lot of people are going to argue for a rate cut if we get that data coming out, as it showed there. Yeah, where is Tesla this morning? Tesla, guys, all the way up at $300. Yeah, so, and again, this is not like a shock here. One of the stocks I bought up, a couple weeks ago was Tesla. I bought Tesla, still sitting in some of it. And, I mean, it's not a shock, right? Like, I'll put it this way. My wife has a portfolio, and she was asking me for, like, hey, what should I do with my portfolio? And what I told her, here, this is, I don't know why it's not instrumentals here, but hey, that's okay. Hold on, let me find this. What I told her was like, hey, look, the people who lose the most on these dips are people that get emotional and sell. Okay? And so she kept asking me, hey, we have some Tesla. What should we do with Tesla? And I told her, I was like, personally, if it was me, I'd probably buy more. Because she was getting pressure because she shares the portfolio with, like, anyways, long story. I'm not going to go into it. But what I told her was, if it was me, I'd buy more. The people who lose the most are people who get emotional and sell. The people who make the most are people who kind of like DCA on these dips, on these big scary drops. And so, yeah, it's important for people to understand, like, look, long-term markets are going to go up. It's really easy to kind of buy the fear. Like, oh no, it's the end of the world. Like, let's be scared and run. But you also have to understand, like, look, guys, most of the time markets are coming back. And Tesla is a good example of that. It's definitely not back to where it was, but I'm sure they're pretty happy they didn't sell at the bottom. Like, they were getting pressure too. All right, so I see another article. China says we are not engaged in trade talks with the US. My price for what? Oh yeah, I'm popping out the quarter here. Oh, I'm still peeping around the corner. My bad, guys. Here, let me fix this. There you go. You're welcome. Powell needs to keep. He needs to keep. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think if you got weak economy, if you got weak economics and weak and low inflation data, I think it's probably time to cut at least 25 basis points. Like, start it. Like, we've already, like, it depends though. It's nuanced. Maybe they don't know more than I do. I would assume, like, because you have to understand, keeping higher rates, and whether we're objectively high is a different topic, but keeping higher rates is kind of like picking up pennies in front of a train track, right? Like, you might be able to do it, but you better stop doing it before bad things happen. And so the base case should never be keeping high rates for extended periods of time. Not unless we just see deep economic resilience, which we're not seeing because GDP is showing up at 0.4% expected on Wednesday. And so we're not seeing the economic resilience to justify not cutting rates, in my opinion, at this point in time. And again, you guys know me. I have been pretty vocal about I fear inflation. And so I'm not really mad that we're not cutting rates, to be honest. I would rather us take a hardline approach to inflation over economic risks. But I also kind of understand people really pushing for rate cuts because I think the economic data justifies that. So, as always, it's very nuanced. Who freaking knows, man? At this point, who do you trust? Our president or China? Is neither an option. I don't trust either one of them. You know. The problem is that neither one of them wants to look bad. And so they're all acting like they're never wrong. And that's part. The truth is somewhere in the middle, I'm assuming. Right, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Again, bond yield's still up. Up a solid amount today. Look at that. They just broke highs again at 4.284%. Again, we got the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ at 19.5s. 19.5s. All right, guys. So yeah, so we got a lot of stuff dropping earnings right now. Let me get this out the way. I got too many windows up. So U.S. Energy Secretary Wright says U.S. LNG supply to Europe will continue to grow in a meaningful way. We'll absolutely see more offtake agreements for LNG from the U.S. and Europe. Also, Google files to sell U.S. dollar denominated 5-parter 4, 8, 12, 20, and 29-year paper. So that's going on with Google. Honestly, what's pushing up ahead of earnings this week? Meta. Meta earnings Wednesday. Microsoft earnings on Wednesday. Big pops, big pushes here. We're at 554.7. 554.7 for Meta. Meta's pushing up. We also got Microsoft up there. Very strong day on Friday. A lot of stuff had very strong market action on Friday. Yeah, and as I always say, guys, I'm not really for or against any politician. I'm pretty neutral. I really am. Honestly, there's so many fake videos out there on YouTube and beyond right now. You know what I see people? I see people buying Belgian Malinois. Malinois, however you pronounce it. Malinois. Yeah. Too many people buying those things, bro. Listen, I love those dogs. But if you buy one of those dogs, dude, you got to be ready for that dog. That dog is a freaking crazy person. They're great dogs, some of the best dogs you could ever have, but they're going to need deep exercise all the time. Too many people buying those dogs that are just not ready for them. You know? Yeah, I mean, I'm non-biased. I want the U.S. to do well, of course. Like, of course I do. Yeah, they're freaking crazy. All right, guys, looking at our poll here. So we did this poll. 47% think the market's going to be green this week. 47% think the market's going to be green. We'll see if it is, man. It's a crazy week, to be honest. We got a lot of stuff happening this week. A lot of stuff happening. Still looking at bond yields. Again, we got where's gold at right now? Gold sitting at $3,300. 3,300s here for gold. We'll see what happens. Apple still popping up here. Look at Apple. Apple at 210s, very strong, bouncing right off of that previous close. Bitcoin again. Bitcoin futures over 96,000 right now, over 96K. Yeah. Yeah, and this is coming from somebody like, I have German Shepherds. Like, I love German Shepherds, right? Best dogs you could ever have. Perfect mix of, like, family dog versus guard dog. Best dogs ever. But you just got to make sure you train them right. Yeah, I mean, no offense, Brown. I do not want a Belgian Malinois. I do not want one. Bro, I got 2 German Shepherds, dude. There's no way I want any puppies. I'm good. Part of being a responsible dog owner is recognizing when you don't need another dog. If I brought another dog home, Carol would be angry. You know? Yeah, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin flying up. MicroStrategy up pretty big. Palantir up pretty big. Google up pretty big. AMD, huge day yesterday, or Friday, I should say, at 95.60s. Almost back up to $100 for AMD. We'll see if it holds. Meta earnings this week up to 556. One of the biggest stocks in pre-market, rising up here. Very strong momentum. Very strong. Dude, and I'm building this indicator I call the Scalp King. Look at that thing, bro. It doesn't repaint. Look at that thing, dude. Genuinely impressive. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. Like, this is a short-term. Like, I'm trying to find an indicator that can find short-term price action. And this one does a pretty freaking good job of it. Look at this. Look at that. It's not meant for a long term, though. And it's definitely wrong sometimes. But I mean, look at this thing, dude. Look at that bottom finder right there. I mean, I'm not going to be too specific and tell people my scripts, but yeah, it works on data. It works on accumulation of a lot of different data, to be honest. Man, Vitaly. That's what I nicknamed it, Ace. That's just what I nicknamed it, brother. Oh, you have a golden doodle. Those are great dogs. Honestly, I have some family that has one of them. They're great dogs. They're the coolest dogs. All right, guys. So look at Meta. Again, Meta popping up this morning. Bond yields up a little bit overnight, but not the crazy amount. Like, not a crazy amount. No, it's just personal. Sorry, Ace. Yeah, where's Robinhood at, man? A lot of people told me to buy the dip in Robinhood a couple weeks ago. Looks like maybe I should have. Robinhood. Damn, dude. Robinhood is almost up around 50%. Robinhood is up like 45% since April. In the last 24 days, 3.5 weeks, Robinhood is up like 40-something% here. Look at this move. Robinhood hit lows of 28.70s on April 7th. It is now up to $50 plus here. $50 plus. So look at Robinhood here, dude. Wow. Yeah, a lot of people talking about GameStop. Is GameStop doing anything right here? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I mean, GameStop's fighting its way back up, but GameStop has been large range, sideways action, but slight downtrend. Like, look, here's GameStop. GameStop's been basically downtrending in finance for 3 months now, 4 months now. It's at the top of the range, though. I mean, if it can get back over 30 and continue up, I think that's an optimistic sign for it. But it's got a ways to go here. Like, it's got a ways to go. Like, it's got to get over some big levels and hold for an extended period of time. And, you know, I don't know when GameStop's earnings are, but yeah. MicroStrategy acquires all that Bitcoin. Sell in May, go away. Yeah, May typically, if we take a look at all right, so last year the NASDAQ posted this. It's by the Motley Fool, just to give out the sources behind this here. Where's my little tool? There it is. Okay, so here's the average S&P 500 returns going back to 1928. So you can see April is usually a pretty solid month at averaging for April about 1.38%. 1.38%. May, on the other hand, though, like if we take a look at May usually averages a red. Like, and typically stocks go down a little bit in May. This is the S&P 500 on average, but in general, markets move down in May. Not a huge amount. Like, it's not as bad as September, which is known as the September slump. But, you know, sell in May and go away is a very common saying for May. And again, we are about 3 days away from that. 3 days away from that. So yeah, that is where we are at now with everything. Michael Saylor's strategy just bought 15,355 Bitcoin for 1.42 billion. So Saylor buying back into Bitcoin here. The double rainbow guy. What happened to the double rainbow guy? Yeah, we can take a look at the NASDAQ. All right, so from 2007 to February. Well, I want to see month over month reading here. Hold on, I'm trying to find the month's data, which I don't really see. Hey, what's up, Blaze? How you doing, bro? All right, guys. So again, GameStop back up. Bond yield still spiking up a little bit higher here. We do have the NASDAQ dipping down some. And again, so we have sell in May go away, averaging minus 0.11%, but June, pretty solid month. July, pretty solid month here. So we got a little bit of time to potentially have some good dips. I think that the average returns here, though, are a little bit less relevant right now because of the tariff situation that we're currently in. I think it's going to be much harder to gauge. All right, guys, so this might be optimistic news, but U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says all aspects of the government are in contact with China, according to CNBC. So again, U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says all aspects of the government are currently in contact with China. But see, this contradicts what China actually said earlier. So it's so confusing to figure out what's going on right now. Because again, China literally said this morning, if we take a look at it here, right? Yeah, and so Treasury Secretary Bessent here, let's talk about some quotes. He said, all right, I'm gonna go back a little bit here, and we're gonna start covering. All right, so this is what Treasury Secretary Bessent said. He says, all aspects of government are in contact with China. It is up to China to de-escalate on tariffs. This is in a CNBC interview. He said, many countries presented very good proposals. You will see the European Central Bank cutting rates to get the euro back down, and Europeans are panicked about strength of the euro, but we have a strong dollar policy, is what he said. He said, it is a complicated relationship with China. I didn't say anything new in JP Morgan meeting. I'm sure China wants to de-escalate as well, and I am surprised when market rallied after remarks at JP Morgan conference. I didn't say anything new. Negotiations with Asian trading partners are going very well. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent. And so that is what he has said. That is what he has said. So yeah, we're going to summarize this on our x.com page. So give me a follow at Beginner Trades on x.com, and we're going to summarize all of this. All right, so NASDAQ still at 9. I think a really interesting level for the NASDAQ here. Let's talk about some levels, and we're going to draw some levels here as well. So let's draw some levels. Let's talk about some levels here. All right, so again, we're going to post this on x.com. All right, let's draw some levels here. I don't think we've drawn any levels out on our charts. And I think we get a lot of people that actually tune in for my levels here. So I think it's time to draw some. Let's put some up here. Hey, what's up, Fred? Yeah, I put a bunch of options in the poll for people. All right, so let's talk about some levels here. I think probably the most influential level that we're going to have on our charts that's near us is 19.5. 19.5, like just a psychological level here. It's also right above the 200 exponential. And so I think that level is very relevant, very important here. So what's up, Bonk? I won't be surprised by if Friday they release some sort of agreement with multiple countries, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's just a weird... One of them's like, hey, we're talking. The other one's like, hey, we're not talking. What are you talking about? You know? So... All right, so Treasury Secretary Bessent says India might be one of the first trade deals we sign, and on Apple, maybe it speaks to China as an unreliable partner. End quote. He said we are anxious not to escalate with China. Chinese exemptions show they want de-escalation on trade. Substantial talks with Japanese allies. Negotiations with Asian trading partners going very well. MicroStrategy. Yeah, MicroStrategy has been doing great. Bitcoin up a lot. So look, we're about to hit that 19.5 level right here. I'm really interested in maybe like see if we could trade based off of this level. We're going to short one little baby contract right here. See if we get a rejection at 19.5s. If it causes strength, we're just going to cut it and get out. But I do want to see if we reject here. A little bit of a rejection. A little bit of a dip down. Added a little bit to it. If we pop back over it, we'll just cut. We're going to have to cut this, get out, and we'll wait for it now. We're over that level here, though, which is good. Let me see which one I'm at. Okay, got it. Yeah, it looks like the Nasdaq's trying to get under that 200 EMA level here, or that big 19.5 level. I think 19.5 is a big spot. Like, that's the level I'm watching closely. We're over the 200 EMA though. I just want to see if we reject back down is what I'm curious about. See if the 200 EMA actually holds it down. Yeah, if we start to break down here, we will attack it. But look at 19.5 still holding. Airbnb? You think the housing market's coming down? How much correlated is Bitcoin today compared to the NASDAQ? It depends on what you mean by correlated. I'll short this. We'll try one contract here. We'll add to it a little bit, see if we get a pop down. We're under that 19.5 level. Let's see if we get a break. As in following the NASDAQ? I don't know how much it's going to follow the NQ. I really don't. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin can follow, like, if we have economic data come out, it can follow the NASDAQ. But a lot of the time, Bitcoin can be a different animal. Like, we really don't know what it's going to do or how it's going to move things. So, yeah, look at that 19.5 level holding here. Now we're kind of flat on this trade. Testing green. There we go. Let's see if we get the flush. I can hold the rest break even now too. If it turns against me, we'll be fine. Which is kind of too, it was. I don't know what happened here. Hold on, let me see. Okay, I actually got out a little bit green on that last contract, but very small. Yeah, I have no idea we opened red or green today. I genuinely have no idea. See, now we're moving back up to retest this. I don't like it. So we got out a little red on that one too. Yeah, there's a pop-up. So we finally got over 19.5s. Yeah, but basically, Treasury Secretary Bessent said talks with Japan and Asia are going very well. China likely wants to de-escalate. Strong U.S. dollar policy. European panicked over euro strength. ECB cuts likely. Surprise market rally. No new announcements. Essentially, we got the full quotes. He said, you will see ECB cutting rates to get the euro back down. It is up to China to de-escalate on tariffs. All aspects of government are in contact with China. Many countries presented very good proposals. Bro, I should have been listening to my own indicators, to be honest, right here. Like, look at this thing, dude. I gotta, like, I don't even use these indicators. I just kind of build scripts. But, like, look at that, dude. I gotta, like, take my own. Look at that. I like it. Hey, what's up, Solstice? Wait for it. White House briefing hosted by Caroline Levitt. Yeah, I think he's supposed to speak today regarding something. I don't think it's the economy. I think it's more so... yeah, so Bessett's actually still speaking right now. Let's talk about it. So he said, we are doing bespoke deals with 18 trading partners. He said the president is to be intimately involved in every one. We are moving very quickly with 15 to 18 trading partners. Maybe they'll call me one day. When asked if he planned to call his counterpart, he said, we'll see what happens with China. I am not worried about empty shells. We'll see elasticities and we'll see replacements. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting sideways range. If we take a look at, like, the action we've gotten. We're definitely getting, like, down, up, down, up, down, up. Sideways, neutral range here on the NQ. We'll see if we get anything good, but yeah. We don't really have any like major economic reports today. We got the opening bell in an hour, but yeah, in terms of like big economic reports, we don't really have much. Tomorrow is like every day for the rest of this week is big though, right? So today's boring. Tomorrow's busy. Wednesday's the busiest. Thursday's busy. Friday's one of the busiest, right? So Friday we have the biggest report, which is non-farm payrolls and unemployment. 8:30 Friday. Thursday we got jobless claims, ISM, manufacturing data. Wednesday we've got GDP, PCE, and more. We got like a bunch of stuff Wednesday. Let me see. What do we have fully? So yeah, Wednesday we got an array of stuff, dude. Wednesday we got non-farm employment, like prelim payrolls, GDP data, Chicago PMI, consumer spending, personal income, PCE data, and pending home sales. So we've got like 5 big economic reports on Wednesday. The big one that I'm looking at is GDP data at 8:30. Like we got GDP data at 8:30. It's expected at 0.4%. Very weak, right? And so again, if we get high inflation data on Wednesday mixed with weak economics, people are going to yell stagflation over and over again. And I get it, why they would, in all honesty. Again, I'm still looking at... All right, so yeah, we have the White House press secretary Leavitt speaking at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So that's in about 3 minutes. I'm not going to stream it, but I will cover it. Yeah, I mean, I think... Thursday is Amazon leading into payrolls. Yeah, not only do we have those economic reports that we talked about, but we also have big tech earnings this week. We got like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Snapchat, more. So we got all like 5 really big tech stocks. The least of all is Snapchat. We're not going to stream Snapchat, but we'll stream the other 2. And again, we got Levitt speaking right now. I'm not going to stream it, but we'll watch it nonetheless. All right, we're hitting the top of this range here. Bro, all the kids want... My daughter keeps asking me for Snapchat. She's like, Daddy, can I have Snapchat? And I'm like, no. Any platform that deletes messages, dude, you're not getting it. You know? But yeah. But Snapchat apparently is still out there. It's still cool for young people. Here goes 8:30. Yeah, we got Amazon and Apple leading into payrolls too. I would say Apple's generally the biggest one. But, all right, so U.S. Treasury Secretary Bassett did say that the first trade deal may come as early as this week or next. Again, do you guys agree with him? Bond yields up a little bit this morning. Again, at 4.27%, 4.27%. If we take a look at the rate cut odds and expectations here, rate cuts odds and expectations are still like 95. Oh, it's gotten a little bit better. Honestly, this has gotten better. I looked at this morning about an hour ago, and this was at about 95, and this was at about 5. Right? So we've got about a 5% increase in rate cut expectations here, about a 5% increase in rate cut expectations. And that's good. That's good. I hope, you know, I don't know. I understand if we cut rates now. GDP 0.4%, unless we like do a super beat with GDP. Yeah, unless we do like some type of super beat with GDP. GDP at 4%. Yeah. You know. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out TopStep. TopStep gives you a 50K demo, and they test your skill with it. If you pass the test with the demo, they fund you between 50K up to 150K with a 90% split. We got our first account ready to withdraw on, and so we're going to process that withdrawal today or tomorrow. It's either going to be today or tomorrow. And then we got our second account, which we're actually green on, but we've had a bad string. This was our 13-day green streak account. Bro, we've lost like 4 or 5 days in a row in this thing, dude. I'm not really happy about it. We're still green, but I'm not happy about it at all. But yeah, if you want to check out TopStep, great way to learn. Most day traders lose. Learning how to trade in a structured environment simply makes sense, right? If you put up your own money in trading, most day traders are going to lose. It doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow, most day traders lose. TopStep, their funded account program gives you kind of a way to get around that, where they test your skill. If you pass the test, they fund you, and you got a 90% split. You get to keep your first 10K once you're funded. Very similar to funding your own account in terms of split, profit, all that stuff. But if you fail, you lose $50 for the base one. It's not the end of the world. It's a perfect middle ground, and they've paid out hundreds of millions. It's a great way to learn how to trade when most day traders lose money. And in the futures market, it's actually where most pro day traders trade. You could day trade the S&P price action, the NASDAQ price action, the Dow price action, the Russell price action, some currencies and some platforms, all that cool stuff. No PDT rules. And again, understand, I'm biased. I get paid by them. So some would say I'm the top 3 most biased trader of all time ever in the world right now. But if you want to check it out, there's the link in chat. I also pinned this to the top of the page. Great way to help support your boy here in this channel. I appreciate the love. Thanks so much. And yeah, we got 1 hour into the opening bell, guys. We're definitely going to trade a little bit more. Look at the market pop up here. I got to put a support or resistance area right here. I got to put a level right here. And then I probably got to put one up here too at 540s. At 19.5 level, we got over it. If we're looking at the bottom levels here, 7.5. Look at this pop. Market's rising here. Let's see if this is good news related. Look at the NASDAQ pop up here. Treasury Secretary Percent says first trade deal could come as early as next week. Maybe that's making markets pop up. IBM unveils a $150 billion investment in America over the next 5 years to accelerate technology opportunity. Investment includes $30 billion in R&D, which is research and development. Has PCE ever released during open market hours? It has, but it's a weird time. Okay, so like, again, I've talked about this before, but my channel has been very, like, honestly, what's strange about this is that, like, my normal views for my normal live streams, we got almost 900 people here today, right? Like, that's twice as much that we usually used to get like a month ago. In terms of like our regular stream is getting almost twice as many views than we used to get. And we don't even have economic data today. And so my channel has grown a lot, like a lot. Like, we're getting more views than we ever have. And we haven't even had any economic reports come out. Like, we haven't really had anything come out. But this week changes it all. It's all consolidated to this week, right? Like, we got big tech earnings. We've got PCE data, GDP data. We've got payrolls, unemployment, jobless claims, ISM data. So we got all these different reports coming out consolidated to this week. And then next week we have the Fed meeting. So next week we got the FOMC meeting going live. And so it's honestly just a crazy busy time for markets. It's a weird time for markets. It's crazy busy. And they've consolidated all of this stuff that, like, the last 2 weeks have been quiet. they've consolidated it all to this week, basically. And it's a really interesting dynamic, too, because Wednesday, we have GDP come out at 8:30. We got non-farm employment data, like prelim payroll data at 8:15, GDP data at 8:30. And then at 10 a.m., we got PCE data. So it's really weird, kind of like consolidated. But it's also something where we have GDP and PCE. We've got GDP and inflation data coming out same day. PCE data is now at 10 a.m. So just very strange, very strange. But hey, I'll cover it. I'm covering it all. What's the reason, you think? I don't know why they've consolidated it all to this week. I really don't. Like this week, everything's just packed to one specific 3-day period. And again, this is in a quiet last few weeks. Like last week, we didn't really have much go on in terms of economic reports. This week, we've got everything going on. All right, so the Treasury Secretary Bassett will brief press on Tuesday, tomorrow. When? Yeah, we got SoFi earnings tomorrow morning as well. We got the JOLTS job report tomorrow. So we got job report tomorrow is what we really have. All right, we're at 19.5s. Again, we're close to 19.5s. We were right up to this level here. Now we're coming right back down. How are my indicators doing? Bro, I mean, I'm not usually one that toots my own horn here. But I might have created the greatest indicator of all time ever in the world right now. Look at this thing. Definitely top 3. Look at that thing, bro. And it's meant for short term. I call it the scalp king because it's meant for short term. But like, look at this. Up, down, up, down. I don't know what's going to happen now, though. I'm not really super confident in it. But, hey. Maybe the greatest indicator of all time. If you copy me and you lose, it's not my fault. I'm not liable. Don't copy me. I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, I'm definitely tooting my own horn out here. Definitely, like, I would say when you look at the top 3 tutors in the world right now, it's definitely me. With that said, though, I see somebody saying, oh, John's so professional. That's right. Listen, I would say I'm the top 3 most professional out there right now on YouTube. Apple testing highs of the day here, though. Look at Apple. Apple going up. Microsoft is trying. Meta is up there at 556.50s. Again, Bitcoin rising this morning up to 96.5s. Looks like we're going to chop downward. Maybe. Looking at our poll numbers, again, we asked people, 32% say red, 47% say green, 13% say sideways, 8% said, I don't know. The market is completely flat as well. Completely flat as well. We got like 40 minutes until the market opens. I wonder if this thing works on a 5-minute chart. See, what's weird is that it's not that good on a 5-minute chart. I mean, it's not bad. I think it finds tops and bottoms pretty well, to be honest. Like short term, which is interesting. But it like it literally almost finds the top or bottom candle in like a short term range. Honestly, it's pretty good on a 5-minute chart too. Like, look at this. Like, look at that. Like short term, like look, caught the top, caught the top, caught the bottom, caught the bottom, caught the top. This one, that one didn't work. This one literally caught the bottom here. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I don't even use it. I should use it maybe, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what's in it. What I will say is it's a combination of a lot of different stuff. All right, bond yields still popping up a little bit, up to 4.28%. 4.28%. Personally, I like it on a 1-minute perspective, though, the best. I can't read the whole chat. I gotta pop it out here. Let me pop this thing out. There we go. I have a suggestion for what you could use for it. Yeah, I mean, Kimberly, you're kind of toxic. Good day to you. Have a great day. Cry about it, you know. Like, I would say the Dunning-Kruger effect is absolutely real. Absolutely real in trading. And the reason it's real is because people with relatively small amounts of experience end up, like, hopping on. And here's the problem. Like, the person is like, oh, hey, you're missing key setups. You're missing key setups. The problem is that everybody trades differently. What you call a setup, I might not like it at all, right? And what I like, you might not like it at all. Right? What I like and I find a setup, you might not find it at all. And so bringing up your setups and acting like I have to take every single one of somebody else's setups usually stems from somebody that does not have that much experience, where they don't really understand that nuance. And so they just end up seeing their setups go, and they see me not trading their setups. And so they just say, oh, well, this guy's missing all the setups. Again, a very rookie mentality, a rookie mindset. In the end, there's so many different strategies in trading. Personally, I like to wait a little bit closer to the opening bell. I've already taken a couple small losses that I don't really want to give back. And so I would much prefer to just kind of wait until I have a little bit better edge than attack every single setup that shows up in my charts right now. Basically, what I'm saying is cry about it. Is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, let's see if we test this 19,533 level. We've honestly got one confirmation in it here at 19,530s. Meta pushing up to 557s, 558s. We cried a lot. Sounds like the name of a movie. Apple breaking up these highs here. So look, we got over this 533 level in the NASDAQ. We're testing 540s here. 540s. Nvidia up to 109.60. So Nvidia's still over 109s. Doing good. Let's see if we can get over to 110s. I feel like 110 is probably a pretty big psychological level. The high of the day for Nvidia is 111.50 even. So 111.50. If we're looking at levels, 111.50. Big level, big spot. Sounds like a bad country song. Yeah. Sounds like a drama movie, you know. All right, guys. Hey, 45 minutes. 45 minutes. Yeah, honestly, that's where I see most rookie traders get it the most wrong, which is that like you might like flag breakouts. You might like momentum high of the day breaks, low of the day breaks. It doesn't mean I have to trade those, you know. And if anything, my strategies are a little different anyway than all that stuff. I like to attack different levels and base my trades off of different levels. Do you have a prediction for CPI next month? Not yet. We'll see. I don't know. CPI is not coming out for 2 weeks. I have no idea what it's going to show up as. I don't even know what the expectations are. What's the symbol for that, Ryan? Meta up a lot today too, man. All right, so look. We are now over these big isolated levels up here. I think we can watch 550 up there too. 555. Like this level here. We'll see if we reject. Exactly, Sam. Exactly, bro. Yeah, we cover market news, economic reports. That's what we cover here more than anything else. RTE says it is mobilized to assist the Spanish grid operator in 700 megawatts of Spanish consumption. What about 1.21 gigawatts? The foreign minister overseas said that if Russia truly wants peace, it must cease fire immediately, end quote. Apple breaking highs of the day. Apple up to 210.03s here, 210.03s. Is go away May a good time to load up? I don't know, man. May only averages a pretty small loss in markets on average. Like, look, so the May go away thing is based off of, hold on, I got way too many windows up on my charts here. Let me exit out of this. Okay. All right, guys. So, again, when you take a look at a heat map, sorry, I got to exit out of some stuff. The earnings, we did have some earnings drop this morning. So, look, here's the earnings. We had Domino's Pizza. We're still waiting on MGM, which hasn't released yet. But we got Opera, FMX, Bank United, a bunch of companies I've never heard about, to be honest. I know Domino's Pizza and I know MGM, though. But, yeah, May only averages, like, look. Again, we talked about this earlier, but here is here's the average S&P 500 returns going back about 100 years. May only averages about 0.11%. But again, I think this dynamic is a little different now because of the tariff stuff going on. So I think this dynamic is different versus what it usually is. Just because, you know, the tariff stuff is going on right now. So that makes it a little different. You know what I mean? Like, that makes it a little bit different. It's not really a normal market right now for May, in all honesty. And And so you want to just be careful and understand, like, it's not really a typical May market. I would say if we're looking at just average pullbacks, I would say September is like the biggest historical pullback month. September slump is what it's called. A lot of the time markets will pull back in September. But again, I think the market is a little bit different right now. It's not what it normally is. And yeah, just be careful. That's what I'm trying to say. This week is different too. Like, if you're going to start buying stuff, I would wait for this week to be over, just because there's a lot of wild cards this week, right? There's a lot of wild cards this week. You got GDP data, PCE data, non-farm payrolls, unemployment, jobless claims, Amazon earnings, Apple earnings, Meta earnings, Microsoft earnings, Snapchat earnings. All of these stocks could influence the market, except for maybe Snapchat. But Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, all can move markets. And so it is something where you just want to be freaking careful of this. You just want to be careful. Who knows when, who knows when all of this stuff is going to happen and what's going to happen. Or no, we know when it's going to happen, but yeah, this was from Motley Fool. I mean, we can look at another one for the S&P. There's a bunch of them. Like, look, I can find one pretty easily here. A lot of people are showing May is flat as a month. Yeah, this is by Isabel Net. Isabel Net is where this one generates from. And so here's another one based off of the same data here. And on this one, you can see it gives you since 1950. May's actually green since 1950. For the past 20 years, it's green in May too. And then, wait. And then if we're looking at the past 10 years, May's slightly red. But it's not like a super, like, red month, to be honest. And again, this is by Isabel.net or something like that. There's another one here. There's a couple more. Like, we can look at a lot of these. This is one by Stock Analysis. This is since 1980 to 2018. And again, in this one, you can see May is basically a flat month. It's 0.02% right here, 0.02%. There's a lot of these, to be honest. Yeah, most of these say May is actually slight green. The only true red months consistently and based off of a lot of these different polls, the only true red month is September. The rest of the months, like February typically is not a great month. May is typically not a great month. September is typically not a great month. But February and September are the two worst ones. Depends on which way you look at it, though. And I hear somebody talking about Chat GPT. I don't know if I would trust them at all. No offense. I've used Chat GPT for a lot of things. One thing that Chat GPT is not the most accurate for is pulling data. It can get confused in a lot of different ways. I have long-term positions. Short-term positions I don't really have. Do you expect a bearish sentiment, especially the way you talk about this week? Tariffs are not priced in and will not be until next month, so the euphoria pre-tariff still there. I mean, listen, I don't know what's going to happen this week. I think it can obviously go two different ways, right? Like, we can have powerful green data, optimistic data. We can have stronger GDP than expected, lower inflation than expected, stronger payrolls than expected, lower unemployment than expected, beats in Amazon and Apple and Meta and Microsoft and fly up. We can have fear reignited depending on news, right? Like, a lot of it's going to depend on what kind of news shows up. And so we could obviously have the other side of that, which is like deep red, like bearish fear. We could have a lot of different things show up. Maybe, Victor. Again, I can't say for sure. I'm not an investment professional, so I don't really know what kind of market structure we're gonna get this month in May. I really don't know. I think it can go either way, either side. Anything could freaking happen. All right, so the White House is speaking. They're talking about ceasefire. All right, so we're bouncing right here at this 533, 530 level, wherever you want to give it credit. But let's see if we hold. 550 is probably a top. Let's see if it stays. All right, so we're creeping up. Let's watch 550. Let's see if 550 rejects it right here. Again, we still got 30 minutes until the market opens, 30 minutes or so. There's tap of 550 or so, close to it, close enough to it at least. And really, this is like the high of the, yeah, this is the high of the day. So NASDAQ's breaking highs. All right, so look, we tapped 550. Yep, look at that. So 550 just tapped it. Yeah, Nvidia. Yeah, I see Apple pushing up, breaking highs. I see SPY moving up, Microsoft moving up, Meta moving up, Nvidia starting to climb back up some. But see, look, we tapped 550 right exactly at my level here, so we'll see if that continues. Thanks for the analysis. Hey, all good. All right, so look, let's see if we come down to this level here too. Look at that. We bounced exactly off of it. Now we're breaking down. Let's see if we get down underneath this. We're very sideways right now. We got 30 minutes until the market opens, so like we'll see if we get some good action. Looking at our poll, 47% think the market's going to be green this week. Do you guys agree with that? All right, so the effective federal funds rate is currently 4.33% for April versus same. Yeah, so we're still getting some red action show up on the charts. Like, we have this level right here. It's like, I guess you can call it 530s, but I like to call it 533s because it's the previous high of the day right here. And look, there's the bounce right back up to this spot. Very choppy neutral range though here. Not really anything I want to attack. What are you looking at, Part? Are you looking at the SPY? Oh, you're talking about 550. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's like the high. That's the high that we had on our charts too, is 550. I don't know why my alarm's going off this early this morning. All right, so the ECB says incoming data suggests modest growth in the first quarter of 2025. Now we're retesting 550 here. I don't know if I want to re-attack this. I don't like retests, so I'll wait. He said, looking ahead, for the ECB still speaking right now, they said, looking ahead, inflation is expected to hover around our target. All right, so we just broke highs of the day again, over 550. See if it's a liquidity grab, though, which it might be. Look at that. Look at that big retracement back down. All right, so we're still testing that previous high of the day, but we got liquidity grab. Now, I don't know if I'd call it a liquidity grab, but we got bumped underneath it. Hit him with a flip-flop. All right, guys. Hey, we got the opening bell in 25 minutes. Market's flat. So ECB's De Guindos says sharp adjustments in markets could become disorderly. Anything else going on in finance? Not that I see. All right, so we're still testing these highs again. I mean, it looks strong up here. It's making a retest of it. I don't really know what to do. I'm just gonna wait. MGM's still not releasing their earnings yet. I don't know why. All right, so ECB's De Guindos, this is for the European Central Bank, says incoming data is indicative of modest growth in quarter one. Modest growth in quarter one. We're kind of struggling to get over this high here. Bull or bear for the opening bell? I'm going to end this poll. We asked people, did we think the market would be red or green this week? Red or green. We're going to end this poll, and now we're going to do it. Oh, whoa, wrong thing. There we go. So we're going to end this poll here. We got almost 1,000 votes. Are you bullish or bearish for today's opening bell? Vote on that poll. We're still testing highs. Just broke highs again right before. About 25 minutes before the market opens. We're still struggling to get up there, though. 65%, 70% are bullish, 30% are bearish so far. Out of about 30 or 40 votes in about 10 seconds. Mostly bullish people at the opening bell. Nvidia is starting to creep back up some. So, like, if we take a look at Nvidia here. Hold on, let me find the chart. I don't have another chart here. When the heck is MGM going to release their numbers? There it is. All right, so let's take a look. So, look at the NASDAQ, slightly green on the day. This is the previous closing price up there at 55. I just noticed that. Nvidia is one of the reasons the market's kind of slowly creeping up here. Look at it at 110. So Nvidia is slowly creeping up. It's at 110. It's trying to find a way back up. Yeah, it's trying to find a way back up. Let's see if it continues. But look at Nvidia. The top of the range for Nvidia is right there at 110.50 or so, which is right around the highs of the day. Yeah, 110.50 is the high of the day for Nvidia. It's at 110.05. Still got about 50 cents to go. Apple's starting to creep up. Apple just broke highs of the day again. Apple just got up to 210.20. Now 210.20. Microsoft broke highs of the day as well at 392.40s, although liquidity is much worse. Meta hit highs of 558.40s this morning. So a lot of tech stocks pre-earnings this week are up a lot. All right, so in the UK is proposing a statement on deeper cooperation with Europe, including joint commitment to territorial integrity, RTRS citing draft documents. Both sides work together to mitigate the impact of fluctuations in the global economic order. That just happened or just released. All right, so the NASDAQ trying to go green on the day. Like, one of the things to look for is the previous closing price. Oh, well, John opened Discord. My bad. Here, sorry, bro. I'm slow with it today, dude. Oh, yeah, he's definitely a lot more golden. Yeah, he's definitely more retriever than Doodle for sure. Honestly, he looks like a lab retriever. This is what he looks like. So we're going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. I don't know about you guys. Maybe you guys will be rich too. Super micro semiconductors. Honestly, bro, I haven't heard about super micro semiconductors in a long time. And it's all the way down under 40s. So I don't think SMCI has not been very good lately. You know, maybe it's getting better, but yeah. We'll see if the opening bell treats us well today. Again, we got the opening bell this morning coming live. All right, so again, we're going to be day trading live at the opening bell. All right, NASDAQ still testing these highs. It's a slow creep up, though. It's not really, like, it's a slow creep up. Yeah, Nvidia's been popping up. There we go. Well, my indicator finally had a wrong signal, but that's okay. It's not going to be perfect. Bond yield still creeping up this morning. NASDAQ still holding. Look at that 550 level holding resistance. The previous closing price is somewhere around here, right? So if we take a look at the NQ and the previous closing price, I'm showing the NQ previous close is, where are you at? I'm showing the NQ previous closing price is literally right exactly where we are now at 554. 554.50. So I'm going to call it 555. So the previous closing price is right around here. I'll put that up on screen so you can see it. So this is the red to green level on the NASDAQ here. So again, the NASDAQ is now technically green on the day as we break above this level. Again, we got the opening bell at 15 minutes, chat. 15 minutes. Slowly creep it up. I like this beat though. What do you guys think? All right, guys. So again, here's the previous close right here. Sometimes the previous closing price can act as like a resistance. Rich only by name. Definitely not by trading. Are we talking about Rich Homie Quan? Rest in peace. Maybe I'm getting too old. Some of y'all might not even know, you know, the story, the legend, Rich Homie Quan. Can you not hear me? Yeah, again, I'm just sitting tight waiting. I'm going to wait until the opening bell. Bitcoin over 95,000 again. Yeah, Bitcoin up to, what is it, 96 now? Whoa, look at this pop. Is this news related? That's a big candle. Let's see. Hold on. Let's check. Okay, so the White House press secretary says the entire team is working 24/7 to get trade deals done. I don't know if this is what's driving this market news, but that is something that just happened here. I don't know if that, again, I don't know if this is what's causing the news. Is that really one of the quotes in type of way? Does he say that custom Breitling make you feel some type of way? Does he really? I mean, personally, though, like, look, I like Breitlings. They're cool. But, like, I don't know, bro. Like Breitlings are cool, but custom Breitling, that just doesn't really make any sense to me. Like, you're going to customize a Breitling? Why? Right? Like, it's probably worth more not customized. Right? Leave it alone. Leave the Breitling alone. You know, that's all I'm saying. I don't know why you would customize a Breitling. It doesn't make any sense. Breitlings are like pilot watches, you know. Yeah, AG, listen, I'm going to embellish it, okay? That's what we're here for. Look at this huge candle right here. Shh. Probably the biggest candle I've ever seen. Definitely top 3 largest candle ever right there. Don't judge me, all right? Yeah, I like Breitlings. I'm not going to customize it, though, you know. I don't actually own any Breitlings. I've got, like, some Omegas, some other stuff, but I don't actually own any Breitlings. Yeah, Tesla. Honestly, Tesla flying up this morning, dude. And that's actually legitimate. Tesla up to 290s right now. That's a big rebound back up. Hey, look. $291s. I like Movados. I'm not trying to be snooty here. Snotty. I'm not trying to be snooty or snotty here. Okay, I'm really not. But there's something that happens. So, like, I used to wear Movados. But, like, once you buy a nicer watch than a Movado, right? Like, you look at Movado as, like, the upper end of the, like, cheap watches, right? Once you buy, like, a higher-end watch, like a Rolex or an Omega or a Breitling, it becomes really difficult to look at Movados in the same way. I've got a couple of Movados I never wear anymore. I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. Yeah, look at Tesla come up here. And I'm not trying to sound snooty. I'm just being honest. And I like watches. Like, watches are kind of like one of my things, but all right, look, here's the high of Tesla. Tesla getting up to 291s almost. Tapped over 291s for a second, came back down underneath it. Let's see if it holds. But Tesla, again, big rebounds for Tesla. Look at Tesla on a 15-minute chart. Was at 222s, which is pretty close to the lows of the, you know, of a long time. About a week ago. Just in the last week, Tesla is up a ridiculously large percentage, back up to almost 292s, almost 300s here. Let's see if we can get back over 3. I think 300, big psychological level for Tesla. So, buy a Rolex with a factory diamond bezel. Oof. That's going to be expensive. A Rolex with a factory diamond bezel is going to be like $100K, bro. I'm not buying that. I don't have that much money where I can buy a $100,000 Rolex. Like, I could buy a Rolex Batman or like an Omega Seamaster. I'm not buying a Patek Philippe, bro. Like, there's no freaking way. My luck, I'd spend $100K on a Patek Philippe and then the freaking movement would break the next day. And then I'm sitting on a $30,000 loss. I'm just not interested in that. Again, I do okay. I don't do that good. You know, I wish I could buy a Patek Philippe and not think twice about it, but I can't. Just not my watch. You know, you got to know your levels, and yeah, I'm not at that level. I could buy an AP probably, but I haven't yet. All right, so look, here's the previous closing price. Again, guys, I'm not going to trade till the opening bell. Here's the previous closing price. We are bouncing directly off of it. It's at 555. It's where the NASDAQ closed Friday. 555, previous close. Let's see if it holds. You can see we're bouncing directly off of it. Again, let's see if we hold. This is the red to green level on the NASDAQ. SoFi? Richard Mill? Oh, I definitely don't have enough money for RM, bro. Nah. RMs look like kids' watches, too. You know what I mean? Like, RMs look like Pokemon. Like, Ash Ketchum would be wearing that thing in Pokemon. I'm just not buying. And I'm not going to spend 150 grand on a plastic Pokemon watch equivalent. No offense. SoFi? Is SoFi running up? SoFi has earnings tomorrow morning, too. So, Cartiers are cool. I like Cartiers. They're fine. All right, so look, we bounced right off of that previous closing price. We're getting up there to 568. Bond yields starting to decrease a little bit. Bond yields, just to put it in perspective, though, you put a 5-minute chart up. Bond yields are down pretty significantly over the last week or so, which shows a lower interest rate sentiment overall, and it shows optimism regarding interest rates. Could show fear in inflation data and economics, though. So, all right, we're testing the highs of the day again, bouncing right off that previous closing price, testing 568 highs now. Yeah, we got Robinhood earnings this week. We got Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Snapchat, SoFi earnings tomorrow. So we got a whole bunch of stuff. All right, guys, we got 6 minutes left. All right, guys, so I'm looking at ECB members speaking. He said their downside risk to March inflation outlook. I agree with markets that tariffs will slow down inflation. There are mostly downside risk to projections. It looks like they rejected the peace proposal overseas as well. Sideways action here, though. Sideways action. We got 5 minutes left. The high for Friday. We're not talking about the high. We're talking about the closing price on Friday. Tower. So we're talking about the closing price on Friday was at those specific levels. Yeah, so the closing price. All right, we're at 560s here on the NASDAQ 560s. Bond yields still spiking up some this morning. Bouncing off of that 555 level again. Where's the VIX at? VIX is all the way down to 25. So, I mean, the volatility has decreased for sure versus like peak tariff fears. But yeah. Again, check out Top Step if you guys want to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose, and it's just a cheaper way to learn. Almost all day traders are going to lose money. Doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow, most day traders lose. And so you can either risk your own thousands and thousands of dollars and probably lose it, or you can learn in a structured environment. And if you're good enough to pass it, you get a 50K funded account, very similar to funding your own account. You get to keep your first 10K in profit prior to that split kicking in once you're funded. If you fail the challenge, you got to make 3K in profit without losing 2K. So it's a reasonable 3-to-2 ratio. If you fail that, the base one's $50, the middle one's 100, the top one's 150. It's not the end of the world. And learning how to trade under that pressure is absolutely vital in that structured environment. It just builds better traders. It's a great resource. You can see it pinned to the top of the chat, as well as you can see the link right there. I'll put the link up one more time in chat as well. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose. And so learning this way versus funding 5, 10, 20, 30 grand in your first account like I did. I lost like 4 or 5 grand in my first month of day trading. So you can avoid that and just lose less if you do lose. And if you want to check it out, there's the link right there. They are an affiliate of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them, so I am biased in their favor. Understand all the stuff on screen, not an investment professional. We're not liable if you lose money. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm talking about. Other times I might, but don't copy me. Yeah, I remember buying PayPal at 50. I sold it, unfortunately. Once it hit up like 60s, 70s, I think I sold it. And so I'm not in it anymore. All right, look at this dip here. So we're seeing a couple tech stocks like Microsoft dip, Apple dip down, Nvidia fall down a little bit. Still bouncing off of 555 though. And we got 2.5 minutes into the opening bell, chat. 2.5 minutes. What would be your symbol if beginner trading went public? BTT. Beginner trading trades, BTT. I don't know. All right, so we are breaking down. We're now under 555. Here's the opening bell in 40 seconds, so chat. So we got the opening bell in about 40 seconds. Let's see if it holds now. All right, so here we go. 20 seconds. Let's watch 540s. All right, here's the bell. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There is the bell. Let's see what happens. All right, so we did bounce right off of 533 exactly here. Look at that pop and bounce. Microsoft just dumped down at the opening bell. I'm not sure why, but Microsoft just fell all the way down to 389 and broke the lows of pre-market, the lows of the day here. Nvidia's up a little bit though. Meta's up some too, but Microsoft is falling down quickly here. Microsoft is dipping down fast too. All right, so we tapped over highs for a split second. I got to let the first couple minutes play out first. All right, so look at this, dog. Look, Microsoft, Meta both falling down pretty quickly at the opening bell. Tesla is too now in sympathy. Apple's still holding firm, though, but Nvidia's down, Meta's down, Microsoft's down, Tesla's down at the opening bell. Very choppy open, though. Now we're starting to pop back up, which is weird. Apple's still been doing okay. What else is doing? Trying to look at Amazon here. Palantir's up to 113.50s. All right, so we're breaking down some here. Tesla's actually almost green since the opening bell, though. Or no, Tesla is green since the opening bell. Apple's breaking down. Meta's breaking down. Microsoft breaking down. Nvidia's breaking down. Palantir's breaking down. Whoa. This is volatile. Look, here's 19.5s. It's a little bit too volatile for me. Usually I'd short this, but I'm going to wait. All right, so there's 19.5s. Now we're underneath 19.5s. Should have shorted it, but Tesla now turning down 2 in sympathy. Palantir still breaking down some here. Very weak pressure. I'm going to buy this now. It's kind of catching a falling knife. It's a little bit dangerous, but I think we could retrace back up there. I'm going to cut this. It's getting a little bit too close to the low. So we actually just got out green slightly on that trade. But definitely a little volatile here. We could have made money on that. But maybe not. Maybe it was a good thing we got out. Starting to rebound back up after some brutal red action. All right, so I'm long again. All right, we're out. We made about $25 on that trade. Tesla rebounding big on the upside. Tesla up to 292s, testing the highs of the day. 292.60 is the Tesla high of the day here. Palantir starting to fight its way back up too. So Palantir's heading back up some as well. What?
I need one of these and a charger. I'm trying to plug in the fly things.
You can't use that?
It's...
Yeah, you can't use it. Oh, it's torn at the bottom.
Yeah.
It probably still works, but...
I need a block, though. Is that one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need more of that one.
All right, so we're cracking that low here. I'm going to short this. There we go. All right, we're out. We are now green on the day. Back green on the day. Took a little while, but we are now green on the day. 2 green trades since the opening bell, playing off of the extension of this movement here. All right, here's 19.5s again. If we get down to 475s, we might buy this. Because 475 to 470 seems like a solid little support level to buy into. Although we did have confirmation in the rejection at the 200 EMA. Look how influential this 200 EMA level is here. All right, so we're still rejecting at that 200 exponential here. All right, so we are breaking down a little bit at that 200 exponential. I'm still looking at 475. All right, so now we're about to back up. I'm waiting to trade this. I'm not really interested in trading this. All right, look at this rebound back up here. So we're getting some green action here. Here's the previous closing price again. So this is the previous level that we closed out on Friday. All right, so now we're all the way back testing highs up here. All right, so we are starting to creep back up. All right, so now we're breaking highs up here up to almost 1960. V-shaped recovery. Now we're over highs. Typically, I look for a pullback, but we got this previous closing price. We get down to 554s. I'll buy that, but I need a dip down to it. All right, so we never really got that pullback. We're now over 19.6 here. Looking at the news here, I don't really see any news that would justify this big rebound here. All right, so we haven't even gotten a red candle. Hey, buddy. Love you. Have a good day, dude. You doing all right? Hey, come here, bro. All right, sorry guys. Talking to my son here. All right, Tesla guys up to 295s here. Wow. Did MGM ever report their earnings? No, not yet. All right, again, we need a larger pullback. I don't know if we're going to still look for 555s. We got a little dip. How you guys doing today? Y'all red or green so far? Are y'all judging my ringtone? All right, we're starting to get a pullback here. And what I'm wondering about is that, are we going to have chop leading into these big economic reports? Palantir just broke highs again. Palantir almost up to 115s. What's the highs? Yeah, that's the highs of the day. Palantir breaking the highs of the day again at 114.40s. I definitely like the long side right now, but I'm not telling you what to do because I have no freaking idea what I'm going to do here. What the? What kind of song is this? All right, look at this dip. I'm going to try buying this. It's risky, but I'm going to try. All right, we're in there. Let's see if we get some follow through. All right, we're out. Again, just made another $20 bill. Green on the day, nonetheless. Look at that 555 buy was the right one too. Look at that. We dipped right back down there. Now we're coming back down to 555. I guess I buy this again here. We'll take a risk based off of our cushion on the day, but I'm going to keep it steady here, just one contract. All right, we got out for another $30 profit here, chat. We're up over 50 on the day. Doing a little bit better here. A little bit better. So last week in this account that we traded on earlier, last week we made here. So here's last week, just to show you guys on this account, right? So kind of short-term trades, but like you can kind of see, last week we made about $700 in this account. We're running about 65% accuracy. It's not this account, it's actually the other account that I'm trading. We got a little bit better risk reward ratio of about 1.02 to 1. Profit factor almost 2 to 1. 75% daily win rate last week. So we're doing pretty good. We're still back at that 555 level. I don't know whether I want to attack this or not. At 555 level holding solid here. Look at that. Previous close. Would just be that one day. What do you mean? That 555 level still the best, just still the best profitable level to dip by. All right, so now we're under that 555 level. Oh, day win percentage. Okay, I see. That's what you're talking about. What is it at? Day win percentage. Yeah, no, that's what I got. It said 75%. It's 3 to 1. See? Is that 75%? All right, now we're hitting that 200 EMA. Oh, I see. Okay. Did we get a fake pawn just show up? We did. Get out of here. All right, market's starting to turn back down, and we might have sideways choppiness leading into the week. All right, guys. Let's watch 19.5s. 19.5 is a big level. I think if we break underneath 19.5 and hold, then it's definitely looking a little bearish. I like Pawn Stars too. All right, so here's 19.5s dipping underneath it quickly here. So we have gone from breaking highs of the day all the way back out into the bottom. And I think we might chop today, right? I think choppiness is plausible today. I'm going to buy this down here. I've decided. I'm going to buy this down here. See if we just range sideways. Neutral. That's what I'm looking for. We'll use 475 as a risk. Just crack lows of the day. I don't really want to add to this. I want to see if it retraces back up, but it's not really looking good, I would say now too. Yeah, I'm trying to let my range go, but I'm probably holding a little bit past. Yeah, now we're kind of flat on the day. I could add quickly to this, see if we pop back up, but maybe getting a little stubborn on this one. Ugh. I wanted to attack chop, but just didn't go for me. How much did I lose there? $80? Could be worse, but terrible string of trades on this account, honestly. I had like a 13-day green streak, and then we ended up just giving it back. I wanted to hold a piece just in case we chop back up. We're basically flat on the day right now, though. It could be worse. Yeah, we got to cut it. We're out. Yeah, just not really my thing. Not really going well for me in this account, dude. We've had 5 red days in a row on the 13-day green streak account. And so we had 13 green days, 5 red days in a row. The other account that we're on, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row. So we're kind of even on these somehow. Like, look, here's the other account that we got. So in one, we got 2 accounts right now. One account we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row. The other one we're 5 red days in a row. And so somehow we're even on these, but man, the red is showing up. Let me make sure we don't have anything too crazy here. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, guys, and just cut it. We are past 9. We don't really have any economic reports. Listen, today's the only slow day of this week. Every day moving forward this week, we've got a gang of economic reports. We've got non-farm payrolls, unemployment, jobless claims, PCE inflation data, GDP data, Amazon earnings, Apple earnings, the JOLTS job report, Meta earnings, Microsoft earnings, starting tomorrow with the JOLTS report live, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Y'all be ready. I'll see you guys then. Y'all be good. Good luck. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. There's the link in chat right now. It's also pinned at the top of the page. A great way to learn how to day trade when most day traders lose. You can check out the link right there, pinned to the top of the chat. You can also find it in the description. Great way to learn. Structured environment. Great for new traders learning. I don't even claim to be a good trader, of course. Like my big catchphrase is top 3 worst trader ever. Don't copy me. And yeah, y'all be good. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later.